you. Let's go make some more good decisions.
That's what we're here to do. Yeah, Jeff says it's totally not the Force. That is exactly what Attune is. The way is.
The way, yeah.
Yeah, but it's all sorts of things. Attune is for weird artifacts. It's totally OP, and that's why none of us have it, because it's fun to not know what the heck the world, the universe.
We've been kind of getting it and getting by without it.
Yeah.
I've been respecting what we talked about at the beginning, which is that we want the stuff to be there, but we don't want it to be every day, and we want it to be kind of like mysterious and cool. So
yeah,
the tone that I was trying to like aiming for.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I feel like that's a thing that is true. So
indeed.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're cutting to either Lauren or Boz. If Lauren, yeah.
I don't really have anything. If you are, I think you would have to come back and say, we've got the box, where should we bring it? To go back to Lauren. Lauren would then ask Ben what his answer to that question is, which could be interesting.
Yeah. So I think, is it reasonable? I think it's reasonable at this point for Faye, not necessarily to know that Lauren knows whenever someone's lying, but for Faye to know that if she uses this particular tone of voice, that Lauren gets that she is full of it.
Yeah, got it.
Is that fair?
Secret language, if
is
you
there
will,
is
right?
there a code? Can we speak in code where I will lie to Lauren and Lauren will know I'm lying?
I think that we as a crew have gotten close enough where like you could tell when I said to you like, it's fine, we're going to do this. It was like, oh, Lauren knows that it's not fine, but we're doing it anyway.
Awesome.
And so there is an understanding when we're like, I can't say what I want to say right now, but so yeah.
All right.
Love
so
it.
as we're pushing as like Felix is pushing the dolly of the thing, Faye's on the intercoms and she's like, this box is stuck, Lauren. I can't get it to move. How important is this thing anyway?
Does Ben hear that?
Oh, I'm definitely saying it loud enough.
From my comm.
Oh, yeah. So I think so. This is really interesting because you're essentially getting like an inner monologue, right? So Barhazik's body is like, do we need it? Do we need it? It was promised. It was promised. It was promised. It was promised. But organics don't live that long. Does promises matter if they're dead? I do not know. Like it's just chattering to itself.
And I think Lauren hears that and it's like, okay. Faye, yes, it's very important. How is it stuck?
Well, it's this crazy mystical thing, and I mean, how would an organic be able to move this thing? Pushing it along. I mean, I guess if you want, we can risk our life and limb for this Ben guy, but he's gonna owe us one. And
I think this is the point at which Lauren is like, oh, I see.
So Faye, are you doing this in a specific spot, or are you just chattering as you're kind of like pushing it down hallways or whatever?
I imagine the cutscenes are just us pushing it down the hall, but like obviously not when we're within visible. I don't want to be visible by a drone because I think that he can like see through their eyes and things like that. So like I think we'll do it like as we're still in the engine room before we've like pushed it out.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Cool. Yeah. No, that's
Great.
fine. Because I was gonna say, if you were just doing it while you were going down a hallway, a drone very well may have reacted to that statement. But go on.
So I say, I mean, he's gonna really owe us big. What's in it for us to move this box? To risk life and limb for this box.
Do I hear Ben's internal monologue in response to that as well?
It's nothing of any great significance.
Okay.
So unless you specifically ask him or attempt to make a roll to like perhaps barter with him or something like that, you're not going to get anything else. Really.
Let me put it this way. Again, I don't know what the plan is, but but when I studied him, you said that he was desperate and irrational and having more fight or flight type responses than an Urbot normally would, almost like a human.
Mhm.
And so I would like to sway him into thinking that we are really risking our lives to do this as a setup action for a future negotiation with him. I don't know what the negotiation is going to be yet, but I want him to be indebted to us now. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
I feel like that's the thing that you would do when you were in his presence rather than...
That's what
As
I'm
a-
going to do as a
That's fair.
response to her prompting. So yeah, I do want to do that. So I think that for me, like I've caught on to what Faye's trying to, I'm picking up what she's laying down.
Yeah.
And I turn to Ben and say, like, Ben, we really want to get you this box, but we just really want to let you know that we're risking a lot for this, and we're going to do our best. And so I would like to attempt to sway him to basically, to be indebted to us.
All right, cool. This is risky because, as I mentioned, this core is not rational, so it may not react rationally. So depends on what you roll.
Great. All right, guys.
Go ahead and sway.
Well, I would like to spend a stress to give you a helping die because Ben has heard
Mhm.
everything I've said. I think
That sounds pretty good.
That sounds appropriate.
Yeah.
Great.
so. I'm working a stress.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Nice.
So I think that there's like so 6 means you do it, right? So you said, hey,
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I wanna have Ben feel indebted to us, and for a split second, like all of the chatter dies down, and you hear the voice at a much lower volume say, "I am tired. I am so very tired." And then it looks up at you, and it weeps softly, and it says, "We are all alone." And then it says, "What do you want, Organic?"
I just want to help you. I want to help you not be so tired anymore and help you get this box to who it belongs to, and help the other people who are trapped here. And we just want to all get off safely together, okay?
Yeah. So I think that it's gonna feel indebted to you, but since you're not asking for a specific thing, there's no true bargain to be struck. But at a later date, if you choose to interact with this thing, it will recall this, even if it is shut down. It's one of the things that it will keep in its memories.
Yeah.
Is that acceptable?
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes back to what Sean was saying about, like, we don't know exactly what's happening here. We'll figure out
Awesome. Sounds
what
great.
the plan is later.
Cool. So I feel like we get like a montage of the box being pushed down hallways.
Well, I think I come back to Faye once I've
Yeah,
gathered,
sure.
like,
Please.
I have this feeling that he feels indebted to us, and I'm like, Faye, and I do a similar thing where it's like, she can tell I'm full of shit, but I'm like, Faye, it is really, really important that we get that box there. It's really, really important. I believe in you. You can do this. Go team.
Awesome. I'm like, okay, boss, if you say so, I'll do it. And that's when we're like, I switch off the comms and we like push the dolly off. Open the engine doors.
Awesome. So I have a feeling that, we see the box like coming down a hallway, we see it being like wheeled up on board. And again, as the box is like moving along, you and Felix are chitter chattering. And again, you see the creepy, like perfect following of like the drone eyes as you're going down hallways. And somewhere so like, we're going to say that you folks are in the thematically appropriate positions. Oh, by the way, like as the box is like leaving, you're seeing that frozen jump like you see like one of those like camera motions where like it comes in closer and closer and closer, and then you start seeing the like particulate matter slowly start like expanding further and whatnot. So it's obvious that like if you take this thing too far from it, it's just gonna explode. Or do something weird, because jumps are not exactly about like explosive decompression or anything. They're more about like transdimensional ships.
It's gonna be fine.
There's a good chance that this ship may implode on itself, may like do some weird space fold, something you're not sure. But it's mid jump, even though it's like not in a lane and it's not next to a gate, but it's doing something. It's executing like a jump, and it just got frozen midway.
Something bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like a normal thing. That sounds like a good thing.
Yeah.
Legit.
How bad can be, really? Cool. So Boz,
Yeah.
you've got some like tools laid out. You're all ready to go. So what do you do?
You know, one of the things in the interim, while these critters are all these drones are frozen. One of the things I've got two. Did you just took Felix with you, correct?
Felix, yeah.
So that means I've got two fun, fancy suited green and purple folk.
Yep.
And while I am kind of sifting through some tools and putting some stuff in place and like just staring really hard at this core, I ask the two of them to go break, shoot, maim some of the bots, the drones that are between us and out. Like, they've got good fancy tools if they're locked in place, and like as a way to like make it easier to get back where we're going when everything eventually turns bad.
Awesome. So yeah, they're going to go through and try and clear a path, and you do all of that. That's going to be part of your prep. Those things aren't anything, so I don't really need to make a roll.
Great.
Actually, I do need to make a roll. I'm making a roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make that roll.
Yeah.
Nothing bad will happen.
Where's my sheet for the Stardancer real quick? Here we go. The roll is going to be, do they miss any of them?
Mm-hmm.
And since you folks divvied them up,
Oh,
a little less-
Yeah.
Wait, is that good
Excellent.
or bad? I don't know.
I think that's bad.
I think
that's
it is.
bad.
Yeah,
It's
That's
okay
big.
though. That's okay. It'll make things more exciting.
that's right.
So we're at the point where I probably should have waited for you to make the roll to disconnect anything before I made that roll.
It's all good.
So go ahead. Yeah, they come back and they're like, "Yep, take care of everything."
Perfect.
It's not going to stop us.
I got 27. The other one's like 32. Ha! Beat you. You owe me a space buck.
Nice.
Space bucks.
Yeah, it's not
Hey.
a cred. Remember, cred's a pile of money. But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you owe me 6 bits.
Yeah. Faye was supposed to arrive to join you right before you disconnected it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Faye like pushes in, laughs, and like space bits. Ha! Like you could get ship repairs for that. She kind of, recalls back to space bits, like that'll buy you anything of value. She recalls back to the time when we had no money to fix our ship because Lauren fed us instead, and chuckles about it as she's rolling in.
What is you upgraded? That's what that yeah.
I like doing a side as though they're like the Felix and the other two can't hear me, but it's totally like a lie. It's like, yeah, it's a bigger box than ours.
Sweet.
I say as my eyes have been replaced by a star field. I'm like, it's totally cool. I got this.
Lauren comes in and is like, "What's going on? Are you guys together? Are we ready for this?"
Yes to the first, no to the second.
Are we going to do it?
Oh,
now?
of course.
Okay. Great. So
You're not real fast moving with that new upgrade, are you, Faye? Well, I guess it's all right. We cleared out all the, these two fine individuals. Cleared out the hall, so.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. No, it's all good. Yeah, I got no problem. I'm trying to think of like a pun. Like I got
Stars. The word you want is stars.
Oh, right. I'm seeing. But isn't that a bad
OMG,
thing?
it's covered in stars. Yeah.
I think Lauren comes in again and is like, guys, we don't just see, there's a possibility that once you disconnect that thing, the engine is going to explode. So, you know, fast is good. Fast is important.
All right, I think that jars Faye into being a little more serious about this.
Sure.
Like, okay, let's do this. What do you need me to pull? Faye will be another set of hands for you.
Awesome.
Cool.
Fantastic.
So as we established, the first roll is an attune roll.
Mhm.
So Boz, do you want to do that? And
Yeah, totally.
I believe that this is, at the moment, it's risky just because you haven't done this necessarily before. This is the
Right.
first time you've actually had to put your knowledge to the test, so something may go wrong.
Right.
Hey,
so
before you roll,
Yeah.
Josh, can you give us another gambit? Because Lauren got a 6 on a risky roll.
Oh.
Without spending a gambit.
True.
I also
That's
got
absolutely true.
a 6 on a risky roll, but I'd spent a gambit, so you don't
So
get one.
just the one, but not the other.
Unless you have the scoundrel ability that lets you generate them even when you spend
I
them.
will get that someday. But
All right. Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, you're good.
Awesome.
So go ahead.
All right. So
if you want to spend one of those,
risky.
I'm totally fine with you using it.
I'm into that. That seems like a fine thing. So
I will delete this newly created gambit.
my gambit token. So and then the effect is standard, right? And then one bonus die because we spent the gambit. I understand that correctly?
And Faye, if you wish to assist, I believe that this is a position that you may be able to help with. Well,
Yeah, for sure.
I think
it may not
I'll
be a
assist
dude,
with
but
the
probably the rig.
Yeah, I think I'm there to do the physical handy bits. I don't think I can
Cool.
assist with you. I'm already attuning to something else. Sorry, my
You're-
brain's not that big.
Not
Yeah,
not
sure.
multitasking. You can't have mismatched eyes.
That
It
would be
wouldn't do. It'd be awkward. All right, fantastic. Hello.
Wonderful. So you get a 6. Nothing bad happens. You did spend a gambit, so you don't generate a new one.
That's forgivable.
And so you attune to the core, and for a split second, you feel like all of its internal structure and everything, and you just you try the thing that you talked to Baruk about, where you like reach in and you turn the switch to turn it off.
Yeah.
And the moment that you do, the ship's power goes down, and you switch back to where Loren and Baruk are, and you see the light in Baruk's eye, and that chatter just cuts out. The light in Baruk's eye goes offline, and then after just like 1 or 2 seconds, like he jerks, and you hear his deep, raspy, growly like voice, and like the job happen again.
Phew.
And he says, he like looks at you and says, "Help me disconnect. We have to get out of here. We have to get out of here now." She's gone mad.
Yeah, and Lauren goes immediately to help. Is that a roll? Do I need to roll for?
It's a rig roll to disconnect him in time.
Woohoo!
Feck.
You can do it.
Can I though?
Yes.
I'm
What do you
gonna.
mean?
Mhm.
Well, I have 0 for rig, and
It's a good
I'm
start.
I'm about to take a trauma, so I can't push myself. I will
Oh no!
take a gambit though
Do
All
it.
right,
on
cool.
that.
Do
Did I
it.
kiss you one die?
This is
Could also
risky
take the
or
devil's bargain.
Yeah.
oh my god, I'm not sure I want to. I do.
Yeah.
So this is risky, right?
This is risky. The only
Talk to me about the devil's bargain because I'm
it could take a little bit of time.
okay.
I think you taking extra time because you're concerned about being careful with Baruk makes total sense. Like, I don't want to
Mhm.
damage his bits.
So I'm going to tell you that there's 2 things that are happening here. The first of which is all of the bad things that are happening on ship are time sensitive. The other thing is, if you recall, there's a pirate vessel looking for you, which means
there
that
is.
I will put the last tick on the pirates 3 exclamation points.
Yeah. Yes.
And they're going to finally
Yes.
find where your ship has ducked out to.
Okay, yeah, I'll take the devil's bargain.
Yes.
Awesome.
So good.
2 dice for you then.
Okay, here you go, guys.
I'm so excited.
Oh,
Go, Lauren, go. Go, Lauren, go. You did great. Great, great, great.
I
That
did
counts.
okay.
That counts.
Cool. So yeah,
So good.
You're gonna get to cutting like all of the veins. Like Baruk will give you instructions and help you, and the 2 of you like start separating him, and then so like you have 2 of the commandos with you, and this just has to happen. Like, there's no getting away from this any further. They killed all of the drones in the hallways that they could find, and they shut a bunch of the doors and stuff.
Mhm.
But like a drill comes through the wall from the outside and spears one of them, and there's blood spraying everywhere. It's like
no.
terrible, right? Because like we've got to kill the NPCs to demonstrate how dangerous these things are.
Absolutely.
You see one of them like reaching for Lauren. You hear Baruk roar, and he like hits it with his like little stick, and like the other guy is like screaming as like one of the drones like comes in, and you feel the like suck of vacuum because you realize that they're drilling in from the outside of the ship. And we're gonna leave you right there, and we're gonna switch back to Faye and Boz calmly in the engine core, not knowing what's going on. What are you folks up to?
Well, I think we see the power has gone out. I'm sure there's like a lot. I mean, is it really calm, or can we not?
Yeah, it's really quiet. All of that chatter and stuff that you were
It's
hearing
finally stopped.
Nice. Oh, wow.
Finally. Awesome. Superb. Well, that being the case, having turned off said box core, it is now.
Yep.
Onto the disconnecting things very quickly.
Awesome. So you've so I would say this is risky limited effect.
Okay.
Now you can push to desperate and have standard effect, which means that on a 6 everything's disconnected or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But right now it's risky limited effect, largely because this is the equivalent of like performing surgery. And
Sure.
so it's like risky.
Yeah.
Because you might damage things.
Mm-hmm. Don't want to nick an
And
artery.
limited because we're gonna have to keep working at it. This isn't gonna go in one go. We're gonna have to disconnect some things and then disconnect others, and then keep. By limited, you mean this roll will not dictate that we have finished the disconnect, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can push yourself to try and get it done quickly and still stay at risky, or you could dip to desperate and try and get extra die, or however you want to do this.
I've got 2 slots of stress left.
Yeah. So if you push yourself, you would trauma out, but after the roll, you would get to do it. I have enough that I could do it, but I just don't see Faye leading this rig.
Yeah, no,
Like,
it makes
this
sense.
is Boz's thing.
Totally. And I'm trying to think, is like doing, does it make sense to try it as a desperate act? Or just do it straight?
I think they're all fun options. Desperate means you get XP. Stressing yourself out means this is traumatic and you get trauma, which is when the game really begins.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the old Nintendo game Dragon Warrior, where you fight a bunch of red blobs and you cross over a bridge, and finally it's like Dragon Warrior after you've been playing for 4 hours. Like
It finally starts.
session 6, and it goes Scum and Villainy because you finally have a trauma.
Okay.
So I think either of those. I mean, you're out for the scene, but hey,
Mm-hmm.
who needs scenes?
This one will wrap up one way or the other.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong? I mean,
Nothing.
am I not wearing the shirt?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, everything's gonna be okay. All right, I guess I'm gonna be. So I win. So if I push myself, what happens?
You can
You have
push.
to make the roll, but you'll trauma out afterwards, which means that you are out of the scene.
Totally.
And you'll show up like you're
Later.
like you're this is going to stress you the hell out. You're just totally going to be out of it. You're not going to be able to help your friends, like let's say with combat rolls against drones.
Sure, totally.
Well, if
so
you're so desperate, things could get worse very quickly, but you'll get XP and you'll still be able to act after this, potentially having some stress for resist or something.
I'm gonna do. So
Having a trauma though is kind of cool. It's actually like secret hacks because it's a way to
Sure.
get like more XP and stuff.
totally. Well, I'm gonna. So it's spin. Is it spin to us stress? Is that I don't remember.
Spend 2 stress.
It is 2. All right,
Yeah,
great.
You push yourself. You can either get a bonus die or increased effect.
Okay.
So if you wanted to just really put everything on the wall, you could make it desperate, standard, and then push for a bonus die. But I think what we were talking
And then Faye
about
can
was
assist you for a die.
yeah. So or you could keep it risky and then use the push to go from limited to standard. Lots of ways to do this. All of them risky and perilous to you.
Awesome. Well, so I will push and go ahead and go for Trauma Land.
Awesome.
So I'm gonna do that thing because I, as a player, am deeply adverse to it. So I'm gonna try it.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Exactly.
Thank you for trying this out with us, but
Yeah.
I guarantee it's only going to be entertainment. So
Yeah, totally. It's
Yeah.
gonna be good. So,
Yeah.
and I know I am inclined towards being pretty conservative. So, as I sit here and quiz you all, on how does this work? Okay, so then that being the case, I'm gonna make this rig roll. I'm going to. That's 2 stress. Now what do I do? And you
So
said
you
it
roll
was
your rig plus you get the extra effect, and then Faye, are you spending a stress to assist?
I'm spending a stress to assist. Faye is
Plus 1 die.
great. So this will stay risky at this point
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
great. And then the
It'll-
effect is standard.
Mhm.
Great
because you pushed.
because I pushed versus it being limited.
Correct.
Great.
Yeah.
And then an additional die because of Faye's help. Yeah.
Correct.
Awesome. And this looks like what? Yeah.
Looks bad.
Yeah.
No, we're
Yeah.
all gonna die on this shit, you guys.
Yeah, it's looking bad.
Oh,
So Boz tries to move too fast, and I feel like this involves like dropping tools and like scraping or stabbing Faye in the back of the hand, and just it's embarrassing, right?
no,
I don't know. What does it
is
look
so
like?
much more than that.
Here's the thing. I'm generally, I mean, if that's something that you're interested in, we can go down that line. In general, I'm
What's it look
less
like?
inclined to say that failures are causes of character incompetence.
Okay,
It's usually there are circumstances or problems that you do not necessarily anticipate.
cool. Tell me about that.
So on a desperate roll, let's consult the rules because I always
This wasn't desperate. We kept it risky.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. So on a risky roll, 1 second. Let me let's see what the outcomes are real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see here.
Note everybody for watching. That is master level GM trick number 7 is when the characters botch a roll and the player is beating themselves up like, oh man, my character is just totally incompetent, terrible. Remember, Indy doesn't fall in the pit. He jumps across the other edge, and then there's dudes with spears.
That's correct.
It's
It's-
bad things happen because the world is not what you expect.
It is unfair.
So
Nice.
when you roll a 1, 2, 3 on a risky roll, things go
Yes.
badly. You can suffer harm, a complication can occur, or you could end up in a desperate position, or you could lose this opportunity to do the thing that you want. So I feel like some of those things will become true, and I'll tell you what
Yes.
those things are. The first of which is that you're going to have a complication. And the complication is that you're cutting these things and you're still attuned to the core, right? So that you can kind of tell where you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do. And at one point you cut a thing and you feel essentially like you've just cut off a portion of the thing's like brain. And so like there's this like system feedback and you freeze and you feel this thing like screaming on the inside and you're frozen. And you're going to end up in the desperate situation, which is drones come in through the walls from the outside.
Nice.
You are frozen, unable to act, and you watch as like one of the people dies and a drone is going to land on top of Faye and everything's going to go desperate here and you're still not done cutting through this thing.
Mhm.
So you can finish the surgery. Oh, well, actually, no, you can't because that's the
That's
role.
right.
Everyone else now goes into a desperate situation, but you yourself are gonna sit there with indecision because now you're doubting yourself and this you're holding this thing in your hand. You're like halfway done and you just cut something. You're like, oh my god, but what if I cut the wrong thing again? So yeah, that's where we're at.
Nice.
We're switching back to
Yeah.
Loren and Bar Hazuk and their mooks who have also been horribly mauled and drilled through with blood spattering everywhere. What are you folks doing?
I've successfully disconnected
Mhm.
Baruk, right? We're
Yeah,
done.
as a matter of fact, you got a 5, which means you do the thing, but something happens.
Right.
And actually, you and Bar Hazuk are not in immediate destructive desperation because you didn't fail quite as catastrophically. So
Yeah.
you watch
Good
this
day.
dude die horribly, but you have a second to react and you can run, you can do other stuff. But like I said, you start feeling air rushing out and vacuum taking over. And now I assume you guys are at heavy load. If you want to say that you have a spacesuit on, that's fine.
I am at heavy load. I don't have enough space for a spacesuit. I am wearing armor and I have a heavy blaster and my communicator. So that puts me at 5, so I have room for
So,
another.
Communicator
3.
doesn't take up space anymore, question mark.
Correct. Communicator does not take up space.
Oh, mine is
The
not
italic
italic.
in 1/6. My bad.
Oh, okay, cool. Great. Then, yes, I happen to have a spacesuit. It's like a low profile spacesuit. It's the kind of thing that you like press a thing on your chest and it goes over you. So
it's an emergency spacesuit.
yeah, it's
So
not.
it's not going to last for hours. It's not good for
No.
PDAs, but it's like a desperation thing.
Yeah.
Damn, does Lauren look good?
There you go. And you see the little like clock with the air supply. I start like counting and everything. But
Cool.
awesome. So you just have it. Great work.
As that happens, I calm over to them. I was like, guys, we need to go. We need to get out of here. They're breaching the hull. What's your status?
I think when we cut to the comms, it's like the sound of blaster fire and like screams, like, "Oh yeah, we're on it!" Okay, over there. And they were screaming, and yeah, it's pandemonium on the other end.
Cool. So, Loren, I'm as a GM, I unfortunately have to do this, and I'm expecting the nope or telling me how you react to this, which is you're triggering spacesuits and you're talking on comms, which is roughly when the first of the drones lands on top of you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
I fight it off. And then I try to shoot it.
Awesome. So did you say that you had a blaster or a heavy blaster or something like that?
I do. I have a heavy blaster.
Awesome. So this thing is pouncing on you, and instead of having this be a resistance roll or whatever, I'm just gonna say, all right, give me a scrap roll to see how this ends up.
A scrap roll.
Yep. So you're gonna heavy blaster, and Baruk is gonna like try and punch some.
You can do it. You can do it.
Do I get bonus dice because Baruk is helping and because I have a blaster?
No, but it does make the situation less desperate. You're not solo fighting off half a dozen drones. It's risky. Baruk doesn't have so you gain bonus dice for 3 things. Spending a 4, I guess. Spending a gambit, and
we don't have any gambits left.
That is correct. And an either a devil's bargain or a push. So those are the sources of bonus dice, unless you have a power.
The other thing is that you could lead a group action if you are coordinating yourself and Baruk and the remaining commandos to fight these dudes off. You could lead a group action if they can roll, if they can participate.
The commandos are dead because they no longer count as a group, which is why they got scattered by the attack of the drones and the cinematic style.
Got it. Okay.
You guys split them up to the point where they were no longer effective as a unit, so they couldn't roll as a group.
Split the party.
Yep, sure did. We did that.
That's fine.
So if you have a devil's bargain, I'm interested. If I push, I will trauma. And I think that if I am also out of this scene, then we're super fucked. So I would prefer to not be out of the scene.
Does anybody have an idea for devil's bargain? Because it's not just on me. It's also if anybody else has a suggestion. I feel like extra heat is not appropriate. I'm happy for you to take a wound guaranteed, no matter what you roll.
Well, I have one, but I hate it. But
yeah, that's how you know it's good.
Yeah, is that you hear the like horrible sound of like the grappling hooks or whatever the pirates use to like hook on to the Stardancer.
I like this devil's bargain. I have no problems with this.
Because as you're sitting there fighting and you should have been getting out of here, the pirates are like, sweet, free ship. Presumably they're still affected by the gravity well, but that doesn't mean they can't do the same maneuver we
Gravity
did.
well's off.
Oh,
I mean,
off.
at least according to Ben, yeah.
It's also true.
Cool. Yeah, so they can easily just be like going after there's commandos on there, but they can't fly it or anything. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we are connected to the Sun Eater ship.
Yeah.
And there are Sun Eaters
Maybe
on our ship.
4-tick clock that says the pirates have captured our ship and put a tick
I
on
love it. We're totally going to do that.
Cool.
All right, great. So this is risky standard effect. God damn it, one bonus time.
You can do
it.
it. So good.
You could do it.
No.
You did it.
Yeah.
Sorta.
You sort of
That
did
counts.
So no, actually, there's no sorta. You totally do it.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a consequence. And I'll tell you what the consequence is. All right. I think that this is I'm gonna say that you're probably gonna take level 2 harm.
Woof.
And it's just gonna be like level 2 harm, and you're just gonna be mauled.
Yeah, you do have armor. I mean, that's why you brought the armor. You can.
It's true.
You can use the
Can
armor.
I resist roll because of my armor?
You can reduce damage.
Nice.
Great. So
you don't even need a resist roll. You just check off your armor box.
oh,
And that reduces the harm from 2 to 1. So then 1 would be like
Nice.
bruised and battered, maybe.
so regular crispy is already in my level 1 harm.
Yeah.
Then battered. There you go.
So
That's okay.
I'm crispy and bruised.
Battered and fried, I believe.
So there's this like one point where we see like one of the like claw, like the saw come in, and you like get your hand out of the way. You're like, not the spacesuit, and then like you see like one of its arms like bat you, and you go like tumbling back, and then like you see like one leaping for Baruk, and then the heavy weapons fire like hits it like once or twice. And
So good.
as you're covering him, and so yeah, like you manage to fight off the 2 or 3 that come in through that point, and there's like air rushing out, and like you and Baruk are like grabbing things and trying to pull yourself down hallways. So back in the so let me just go ahead and take some Stardancer taking over. That's gonna
Dun,
be
dun, dun.
choose a side. We're gonna reduce that down to 1 tick. Actually, I'm gonna call it Stardancer overrun.
Borrowed.
And
Politely.
I think so. The way that wraps up is that I tell Barhazuk to like make sure that this is clear, because this is our way back. Like I imagine that you folks are in the engine room over here, and then this goes here, and then like back this way is our ship. So I tell him to hold it down, and I am trying to get to them in the engine room because I heard over the comm that like shit's going down.
Hell
Nice.
yeah! So
Nice.
Faye, you and these 2 commandos that are there with you are all that's standing between Boz, who's shaking and trying to do this like delicate surgery as like there's robots leaping in and everything. What do you do?
I am shooting. I mean, Faye picks up one of the heavy blasters from the Stardancer dude that fell, and because it's big and it's
The
Sun Eater guys.
Yeah,
Sorry,
okay, sure,
that's
yeah.
Stardancer. Yeah,
No
one, not Felix. Felix doesn't get to die yet. Felix, I want to revoke comic relief Felix from being murdered until the end. But she picks
no,
up.
Felix, you're a purple shirt. Your shirt is not red. Stay
Yes.
with me, Felix.
She
Blam,
picks
blam,
up-
blam.
She picks up the red shirt thing and she starts blasting drones to try and create enough. Basically, she just wants to suppress them to she wants to suppress them to give Boz time to
Awesome.
because she
So
doesn't
I'll tell
know
you what.
like this can't be finished or that she's stuck. She just knows it's taking.
Actually, it's not that it can't be finished. It's I'm about to tell you. So this is unusual. We're in an unusual situation where the PC that cannot take an action is there and sweating and losing it and not
Yeah.
making rolls, right? So unfortunately, when you're out like that, it's not that you just like die or become catatonic or something.
Can't contribute.
You can't contribute. So one of the
Right.
things that you might be able to do is sway, like you can make the roll for Boz by motivating Boz. The same way if you had an NPC mechanic that was frozen, you could command them to do the thing. You could sway
Sure.
them and talk them through it.
Cajole or sure.
Cajole, consort, whatever you do, you can do to try and push them through it as if they were an NPC. But the thing is that Boz, because Boz chose to trauma, cannot make the roll for you. So you can kind of make the roll on their behalf.
Okay.
Neat.
Then you tell me if this sounds unreasonable, but I don't think my action is to scrap. I think that's scene dressing on what's really happening, which is Faye trying to get Boz to do.
I need you to look at me, Sean, but I'm going to tell you a thing. I'm going to make a roll for the commandos, and a lot of them are going to die. Is that fine? It might be Felix. Depends on the roll. This is the cost of you choosing not to scrap and instead focusing on Boz.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll have to make 2 rolls.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I want to address, since this has been all my Facebook feed today, the moral implication of saying I'm okay with these people that are real human beings that have families and lives and personalities and things that they care about. I'm okay with them dying to get what I want. And the question is that okay? And the answer is yes, I am. But my further question is why? And my answer to that is because in this moment, Faye cares about Boz more than she does about them. And I'm
More than being a
okay.
hero.
What's that?
You care about family more than you care about being a hero.
Yes, and I'm okay as a player saying the ramifications of this will be meaningful, and I'm not doing it flippantly. But with all that said, yes, I'm okay with you rolling for them and them just doing it on their own while I try and convince Boz to move.
No problem. So how are you convincing Boz?
Yeah, what does that look like?
Yeah. So when I see that Boz is frozen up, I first feebly like, Boz, what do you need? What do you need? Like I'm still doing that thing where I think we're working on it. And when I realize that she's like not moving or she's too stressed out. Oh yeah. Hey, nice. Son, he's doing okay.
I'll describe that in a second here. Please go on.
Yeah. That's when Faye drops her cavalier attitude and her like whatever with the laissez-faire attitude of the world, and in fact she disconnects from the box. Her eyes, like the part of her brain that was thinking about it. Actually, no, that's too damn. She closes her eyes because it's like she's trying to juggle too many things. She closes her eyes and she puts her hand on Boz and she says, remember when we were doing the delivery and when we met and when Janice and Cobalt were making a deal and everything went south, you were the only person that took care of me and saved my ass from that firefight. I'm here for you now, Boz. I believe in you like you believed in me. We're gonna do this and we're gonna do it together. You just tell me and I'll cut the red wire and I got your back. And I want to try and I think it may be command, it may be sway. It's definitely not consort. This is very direct.
Sure.
I think I'm trying to sway, not deceiving, but I'm trying to convince her to go on and that she's got what it takes, even though she really doesn't have what it takes in this moment.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bolster up that confidence.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm going to sway Boz into believing in herself, even though she probably shouldn't.
Here we go.
Nice.
Throw them
I
bones.
believe in her. All right.
Do it.
This is desperate. I think you said that this was we were in a desperate situation. Is that correct?
Yes, this is desperate. You're
Nice.
under fire and things are going down, and you might get a robot that runs its drill through you at any given second.
Yep. That
See
seems
how bad it goes.
That seems very reasonable. And we don't have anything. We have no gambits, so.
But you go ahead and by the way, Boz, feel free to remember to put one tick in your desperate column. I believe it's insight because you rolled rig.
Thank you.
I think I'm just gonna have to let these dice hit where
Land where they will.
Land where they will. Yep.
Yep.
Desperate. Standard effect.
Standard effect. Unless Boz says otherwise, I feel like this is standard effect. Boz, are you moved by these words? Do you feel like this is something that would affect your character?
Totally. Like this is like Boz in my imagination. Boz is like locked into this indecision machine and like sitting there, like occasionally like murmuring, like "Hurry, hurry up, hurry,
Yep.
hurry."
Right. Well, I happen to have, just to add in a little more justification for effect. One of my no load items is a personal memento, and Faye is going to pull out. She's going to pull out the when Buzz and and Faye were first like on the run, and they had their first like nowhere near as good fake IDs. Their first like not Stacey Mulligan, but but one of their other like fake IDs. She's like pulls out like the fake. She's like, it's all tattered and worn, and she should have thrown it away forever ago because it's useless. But it's got the picture of Boz on it, and it says like Allie Stevenson. And I'm like, come on, Allie, you got this. And I
so good.
And Allie did something awesome. She rigged the ship and we got out of there. So that's the thing. All right, now I'm rolling it. After I've said all these things.
So good.
Desperate, no bonus dice, standard effect, fix the thing.
Fix the thing.
Okay,
yes.
I did it.
Oh my goodness.
I did it with stabbiness probably, but I did it.
So here's good news. Boz, these words you, they enable you to do the thing. But as you're doing that, Faye, you're focusing on this and not on the badness. And so it is unfortunately my duty as a GM. It is my unfortunate duty to inform you that you are taking level 3 harm as a drill or like some like giant mechanical saw comes in and hacks into your back, and there's gory and awful bits, and your organs may be bleeding, and it could be really bad.
Yep. And I think Faye has her hand on Faye has her hand on Boz's shoulder, and right as she's like saying this, she opens her eyes again, and we see like the star field emitting. She was trying not to distract Boz, and I see like a reflective bit of the core, the shiny core, and I see the thing coming from behind, and Faye is like, "Okay, no, you really got this," and I like leap away. I'm going to resist with prowess.
So here's the bad news.
Okay.
This is a problem of you not being able to see or being able to see an attack coming. This feels like an insight resist.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I could also hear an argument for a resolve resist because you were rolling talking while in the middle of combat.
No, insight sounds fair.
All
right. Let's see how insight goes. Boop. No. Well, I do it, but I trauma out.
Nice. Here we are today.
No!
I only had 3 stress left, and I just took 5.
Yeah.
And I take level 2 harm, presumably.
Yes.
Just a bit stabbed in the back.
No, actually, this is very heroic, kind of like Luke Skywalker level action, and because you take insight resist, which is the foresight, I feel like I'll reduce it by 2 levels. So okay. I'm gonna say that you're gonna take level 1 harm, which is just like clipped. Yeah.
Clipped. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So it's kind of too last minute. And maybe this insight to open her eyes this last moment came from the box that is cognizant of her presence, and maybe that is now filling her head. I'm not exactly sure why she's taken out in this moment, but I think in this moment we see her getting stabbed, and that's a pretty good reason for her not to be super active.
Cool. So this is the point where I'll bring in the commandos, and notably where that 6 comes from, which is you recall that one of the commandos had the weird insignia on their shoulder.
Yeah.
So obviously, as this thing is standing above you, and you know, like you like tuck and roll, and it turns around to go after you, and this dude basically like shuts several of the things into a wall, and you know, there's like a very classic sci-fi, like this is a very Babylon 5 thing, right? Like he's like just screams, and like, you know, his eyes turn like pitch black, you see like blood pouring out of his nose, and then you just hear the robots like crush, and then he like falls over, and Felix catches him because he survived because they rolled a 6.
Nice.
And so you know, only one of them died cinematically screaming. And at this point Boz has cut the thing open. Faye is like has been like hit by this robot and sent flying and whatnot. And you folks like, yeah, you're picking up and going down the hallway, which is when you're going to meet up with Lauren and Bar Hazuk. So here's the good and bad news. The bad news is you've got two characters that are traumatized the shit out, which is roughly when you're going to make it back to the ship. So like there's probably like a backwards firefight where there's like heavy blaster fire, and then we go back to the engine core and we see that like light expanding until like you see like a section of the engine start like twisting inward and doing that crazy dimensional phase shift. So you see like the ship is basically going to start imploding in on itself, and you're shooting drones and you're like retreating backwards. You've made your rolls, so they're no longer an obstacle because you've defeated the obstacle, so to speak. But it's just cinematic. You know, you make it to the fire drake, right? Like you just like slam doors shut, and you like shove like suits on people, and as you're going back onto the Stardancer, you realize that the pirates have cut through the hull, and there's like some crazy fighting going on between the Sun Eaters on the ship, and who are like, drones and pirates, what the hell is with this day? And the crew basically like comes on board, and the pirates have about a quarter of the ship on lockdown, and there's like some firefights, and they've made some barricades, and hilariously, like there's a certain section of the ship, like the pirates are trying to come into the cargo bay, but from one angle the Sun Eaters are shooting at them, and the few of them that run past the Sun Eater fire and dive into the cargo bay, like you see at least one of them like dead and mauled, and like Burden is standing there like in all his giant alien Icelandic pony dog size, like baring his teeth and like growling like crazy, like, no, this is mine.
Go Burden.
That's a scene that you're being dragged onto the ship. You know, there's like multiple people dead, and of course the last person onto the ship is Felix, who is in that airlock closing the latch. No, he's fine. I'm just messing.
So I have a moment
that
kind of brings us into that scene, which is, so Boz has completed this. Faye has just gotten stabbed. Commandos arrive, shoot. I think Lauren arrives very shortly after Faye was stabbed, because he's booking it to where they are, and like sees Boz, and goes for Faye and picks her up and carries her along this. So like,
nice.
There's maybe a commando who's kind of with Boz, making sure that she's getting there, and like Lauren is in the middle, kind of hunched over. He's not shooting. He's just like, cover fire is happening, and he's carrying her. And I think they get onto the ship. They see this scene that you've described. Lauren gently sets Faye down, kind of near, like he's behind a lot of the commandos, and so maybe the pirates don't necessarily see him right away, and he's kind of hunched over anyway. So he sets her down, he stands up, he walks into the middle of the room, and he kind of like stands tall, and he takes his space, or I guess he can't take his spacesuit off.
Oh, you can like hit it and have a cinematic dramatic thing.
Yeah,
where, like,
yeah. So it comes
up dramatically.
Well, it goes up slowly, and you see the like fucking burn down half of his face, and he's like all grizzled looking, and he kind of says to the room and to everyone, like, I'm Gred, captain of the Queen Anne's Revenge. Pirates, we need to get out of here now. And so
so this sounds like a desperate sway.
Yeah,
because you're lying your ass off, and or it could be a command. That's a thing.
Let's call it. I feel like, let me look at him. I think it's more of a command.
That's fine.
And
because you are commanding.
I am, and I am.
But it feels
also
like a desperate command, because you're trying to act. So it sounds like you're trying to act like you're a pirate captain. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. Oh yeah. I am trying to. I do have the scar. I'm also battered
and bleeding and bruised. Yes.
Yeah.
Your clothes are disheveled.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Definitely.
If it's worth anything, I believe Jory specifically wanted to be scarred on the face in the last session.
Yeah,
for this reason.
And to pose as a pirate captain.
It's true. So I have a question about stress. I have room for one more stress if I push myself, can I do that, get an extra die, and trauma out?
That is correct.
Yes.
Are we going to have a full? What happens when a full crew trauma is? Okay, yes. Let's see. This is the riskiest roll in the game because if you trauma out, I believe that we continue the session on board the pirate ship as your ship is lashed to theirs and you're taking you to be like salvaged or some nonsense.
Oh man, no, I don't know that I want to do that.
You know what? Sometimes it's about throwing the bones and trusting them.
It's gonna be all right. That's when we sidestep and play a game of Burden and Friends. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Golden Sky Stories, Burden and Friends.
Okay, so I mean, if I do not succeed at this and I'm not pushing myself, so I don't trauma out, the pirates know that I'm not a pirate.
Well, there's a lot of risks here. You might get shot because before you can talk, they're shooting down the hallway, and as you step up all dramatically and stuff, you might just get shot because they're like, some scrub doesn't know how to talk. Boom. But like, you might also like they might stand down. Like if you get a 4 to 5, there's a chance that they might stand down, but like get their captain there, and you might get interrogated, which is probably not going to hold up. But it buys you some time to like maybe give some hand signals or do something else. You're not sure.
Okay.
So if you fail, the scene can continue, but you could take levels of harm. There could be all sorts of other consequences.
Okay.
If you succeed, well, I mean, if you roll a 6, there's no consequences, and we'll just negotiate where we go from here.
That would be the best. Okay, I'm not gonna push myself.
Okay.
So
You can still take a devil's bargain. The devil's bargain may be that they're, in order to convince them of this, you need to like keep them around.
Oh no, I have a really good one.
Oh, I'm excited.
Bargains.
My devil's bargain is that in order to convince them, I have to kill
Good.
Felix.
Nice.
Strash. You're making a
Yeah,
face.
all right, sure. That's a tough devil's bargain because then you're gonna have to explain to the Sun Eaters what the shit is going on. Because like you're like, I am the pirate king of some pirate ship, and Felix is like, wait a second, no, you're not. You're not, and you just shoot him.
Yeah,
And,
it's like I don't even look at him. I take out my giant blaster and shoot him. So that is the devil's bargain.
yes, sure, yeah, that's fine for now. We'll have to deal with the fallout of this roll right after, no problem.
Okay,
Bit
all
by
right.
bit.
Felix didn't make it, folks. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, we did
Uh,
right.
Cool. So on a 4 to 5 on a desperate action, let's consult the rules.
Yes.
You do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer severe harm or a serious complication occurs. So I think that you mentioned that you are what was the name? I'm sorry, I didn't write down.
I'm Captain. I'm Gred, Captain of the Queen Anne's Revenge.
Now is this an actual person or is this some news story you read?
I think this is an actual person.
Awesome.
Who,
Before we get the results of this, we should probably go to break. Come back and find out what happened. Unless you have a thing you want to do right now. Unless you want to.
Serious complication occurs. All right, cool. I actually think we're going to go to break and we're going to come back. Yes. Fun and exciting. All right. Cool.
We'll
All right.
see
I hope
you.
you stay with us. See you folks shortly.
Yep. See you in a few.
Yeah.